word for word from Tom Steyer. But I want to ask this question. Out of the environmentalists that want to block the Keystone Pipeline because it's horrible for the environment, it's going to bring this Tarzan oil that they like to talk about into the country, and that if you had a spill, it would wreck wildlife, the environment. Well, maybe I should start it here with the liberals. Sometimes I need to dumb it down a little bit. You do know what a pipeline is, correct? A pipeline, all that does is transport oil. Usually it's from the field to the refinery. So as far as oil consumption goes, it is not going to increase or decrease the amount of oil that's consumed in this country, whether you have the Keystone Pipeline or not have the Keystone Pipeline. You do realize that, right? The supply, the demand is not going to go up at all because of the Keystone Pipeline. All it is going to do, it's a easier way to transport the oil and get it to the refineries, which will make the oil a little bit cheaper. Now, with that, there's pipelines in this country that have been built in the 40s and 50s that we're still using. So you mean to tell me those pipelines are better for the environment and there's less of a chance of a spill, and if there is a spill, there's less of a chance of actually being able to contain the spill than this pipeline that would be built today, 70 or 80 years later, that has, 7 years now, been trying to go through the permit process and has been added upon them regulation after regulation after regulation that they have to implement and now abide to. You're telling me that a Keystone Pipeline today is going to be less safe than the pipelines that were built in the 40s and 50s and 60s and are used in this country every single day? In fact, if you actually are an environmentalist and you're worried about a spill, you're worried about the wildlife being affected, you should be rooting for the Keystone Pipeline. You should actually be hoping that there's 5 or 6 Keystone Pipelines every single year. All it is going to do is actually make the transportation of oil safer in this country. So I believe that with that right there, that it really isn't about the environment, is it? No, it's about Tom Steyer's campaign to be able to block this pipeline to help out his Kinder Morgan investment in Canada. Because how does this benefit the environment? I want the liberal idiots out there that buy into anything that they say. And I mean, just off the face of it, forget about Al Gore, everything that we already know. I'm not going to get into the dozens of things that you can prove how Al Gore's a hypocrite, he's a fraud, doesn't know what he's talking about. Forget about all that. Even if you didn't have that, just off the face of it, doesn't a man who believes that a civil war that's been going on for 1,000 years in Iraq is linked to climate change, doesn't that blow the entire credibility just out the window there? I mean, seriously, anything Al Gore has ever said or anything that he's ever done, it should be dismissed right there with this statement. I mean, do you have any idea how idiotic that is to actually think that? And he puts it into a Rolling Stone article. And the best part is, too, this article will be discussed. It'll be great. Oh, we need to block the Keystone Pipeline. It's incredible. But I would like for liberals to answer this question to me. Why would you want to block the Keystone Pipeline? It's going to be the most state-of-the-art, safest pipeline in the country. If it's really about the environment, why do you want to block it?